Good morning, traders. This is the wake-up call. It is Friday, end of the week, but it's going to be a challenging day of trading today because it is the end of the week, it is the end of the quarter, and it is the end of the month. So we could see a bit of volatility, maybe similar to what we had yesterday. So trading is going to be limited on my part. More likely, probably we'll just stick with the trade that we currently have, or I currently have, in the Euro JPY. This trade, as we all know from yesterday, set up perfectly with the trend line break right here around 1066, but more importantly, I was playing the bounce off this level, and I entered the trade around 99.95, 99.94, I can't remember exactly, and I'm looking for a larger move up on this trade. It's more so not so much a scalp. I'm looking for a break of the 0.38 1072 level. This would be your T1 target where you could take some profits. Looking for a move up higher, though, probably up towards the ultimately to the 102.77 level. We'll see how that plays out. And when we on pullbacks, we could sell at levels, and on pullbacks, buy on 50 fib pullbacks. Looking for a continued move and constantly moving our targets back up to break even. So at the worst, we can ride the ladder on the highs, and our losses will be limited to a little bit below where we buy on our pullback, buy on the 50 fib pullbacks. It'll be interesting. So what we're looking at is to hold this position, and we're looking for a push higher today, a squeeze, because it's the end of the month, end of the quarter, with people getting in, hopefully up towards the 101 level. And our trade is already at break even at the 0.999495 level, 9495 level, and we're just going to hold pat on this trade right here unless things become very nasty. We've had a little bit of a volatility today. It looks like the market's kind of fell off the cliff around 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. The Dow futures are pointing lower, -46. Oil is up 20 cents, and the S&P futures are down from about 5 points. All right, so let's look at the other pairs that we have interest in. There was, obviously everybody's interested in the Euro USD. The Euro USD had a similar trade yesterday. It's just that with the volatility yesterday, as you guys probably remember, I was definitely short the Great Britain pound USD. I think I went short around 106.14, if I remember correctly, and we moved all the way down to daily charts. A little bit hard to decipher on that. We moved all the way down to. We moved all the way down to, let's see the time frames here. Yeah. We moved all the way down to 161.72, and everything looked great. And this was after the European close, and then the stocks fell out of the trade after the Spanish budget was introduced, and it seemed to fit the guidelines for the asking for future requests from the ECB, and the stock market skyrocketed higher. This led to a push up to 162.50. Well, we might as well do the pound while we're right here. Now, the thing with the pound is it looks like there's quite a bit of volatility, but really nothing has changed. This pair is trading in a very narrow range so far this week. We're at the top of the range at 163, and the bottom's at 161.40. And until either one of those areas are broke, I wouldn't expect much to happen. Any move up to 163, actually, you can see that today's move was captured by the high for this week, which is at 162.70, and now we're going down to 161.40. I would expect the pair to probably remain in this range for today's trading. If we get any move up towards 163 or 161.40, it'll probably settle there to end the week. Maybe with knowing as the pound, it might pop higher, then back down to clear out all the shorts, and then it'll give us an opportunity to buy or sell to fade the move into the beginning of the week on Monday. Let's look at the Euro USD. We go back to that. So right here, with the pair had a very good buying opportunity but at the same time, I was already short the pound, so I don't like to trade where I'm two pairs that are normally correlated, such as the pound and the euro, where you're betting where the pound will, you're leveraging that the pound will go lower, and then that the euro is going to go higher. You're actually kind of going against yourself there. You might as well trade the euro pound if that was the fashion that you were considering. And it reversed, and this all happened in a matter of about 15 minutes, and And the trade that could have definitely been done though was when it broke the trend line resistance yesterday, about at around the after the close of trading at 129.09. It did move all the way up to 129.58. But the reason I stayed away from this trade is that I was hesitant to take the risk reward that would have been required. You could have done it, but you would have to have placed your stop somewhere around. Somewhere around these 4-hour closes here to have a true sense, because if you just set it here at the trend line and maybe set it below this 4-hour close at 128.84, if it came back to test the trend line, which is very common in channel and trend breaks, you would almost be stopped out already, and if it shot down just for a spike lower, you would have been closed out in the trade. So to have comfort, you would have had to be down here and it would have been about a 60 pip risk reward for a move higher, and I didn't want to take that kind of risk. As it turns out, it would have probably paid off, because we would have gone 129.20, and it would have moved up to 129.60, so we could have been at break even right now. But it looks like you probably would have been closed out at break even. So it was one of those trades that was tricky. The risk reward wasn't there. If we do get a pullback all the way to the trend line, we can reconsider the trade later in the week, or in the trading day, or maybe the start of next week. The next pair we're going to look at is the USD CAD, just because the CAD was a trade setup that we had on the had set up on the blog, and the trade was to look for a break of the descending trend line, and the pair definitely did break below the descending trend line, and so the signal to go short would have occurred right here at 97.85. And what happened in this pair is exactly what I was talking about. The pair retraced all the way up to the descending trend line, shot through, just like I said could have happened in the euro, and now it looks like it could be poised to go back lower. This could be an opportunity right here to go short right now, and you would have to put your stops. You would have to wait. So it'd be tough to wait until the 9 o'clock close and set your stops above the highs of this 4-hour channel, 4-hour chart, which would be about 98.10, and you'd be looking for a bounce here for a continued move lower. This is definitely something I'll be keeping my eyes on heading into the 9 o'clock close, and of course at the same time the pair would have to definitely still be below the descending trend line to make this an accurate trade. So this is the trade setup of the day so far. Let's look at the New Zealand USD. As you can see, the pair loves its range. Moved up to the top of the range we've been talking about all week at the 83.50 level. It has reversed at that point. Now it's consolidating between 83 and 83.50. Unless it breaks out of this range, you have to say the bias now is for a move lower. It could definitely break out of the range today, and if it does break out, we could have that will reset the trend, and it could do it for the new week, or the new range for next week would probably be between 83.50 or 83. And the support range would still be between 83.50 and 83, but the target on the top side would be 84.70. So we're going to watch the price action here for a breakout of either side. And you have to remember, on Friday, trades have a tendency to continue in a motion higher. They don't. They have a continuation. They with traders liquidating before the end of the week. The Aussie USD, as we've talked about this week, it looked like it was going to break out of the fib. It has a nice 4-hour close there, but you can see it moved back down. Some traders could have been sucked into this trade right here. But it was also a lazy Asian European crossover time period, and then you can see the pair reversed instantly back into the comfort zone of what we're going to call its home now, between the 0.382 1044 fib and the 1.0340 fib. The trade has been trading in this zone for the last week or so, and until we get a confirmed break, if we get a confirmed break at 104.45, our target zone is going to be up at 105.20. If not, it's down at 102.80. The yen, it's down towards the bottom of its range. We could get a move higher if we break below this range. 70, we could see a move down to 77. Interesting thing about the yen now, we obviously don't want it to decline, but we're actually hoping for a Bank of Japan intervention, because that would really help. It would definitely lift our Euro JPY cross. All right, let's go to the Great Britain JPY. There's really no trade set up in that pair right now. We'd just be sitting on the sidelines there. The Euro JPY we've already talked about. It's our current trade in action. Great Britain USD, we already talked about that. I don't know why I have two of them on the chart. Odd JPY. This is a trade that's interesting that we've talked about quite a few times. This pair has been acting a little bit erratic, but you can say actually it looks like it's following this descending trend line lower. Let's see. No, it's not. It broke through the trend. Well, this is another good example of what we're talking about. It broke through the descending trend line that has controlled the price action, and it looked like it was going to move higher. It came down to test the trend line right there, right there. That's why you'd have to set your stops down here on the euro trade again to test the trend line. And now let's see if we get a bounce here. If you were so inclined, you could go long here. With your stops would have to be below this 81 and 84, looking for a pop higher. And your first target would be 81.80, followed by the descending trend line right about here, 82.16. Let's see, New Zealand JPY is broken above the descending trend line that we talked about. This was a trade that we referenced yesterday. This is 164.52, moves up to 164.68. I would recommend anybody that's in that trade to go break even. You're looking for a move up to 65.50. So in review of the trades, obviously we're going to keep our eye on the Aussie JP. I mean, we'll keep our eyes on the Aussie JPY for this trade set up with a descending trend line right here. Also have our eyes focused obviously on the trade that we have in action in the Euro JPY, and we want to keep a look on this USD CAD and its battle at this resistance trend line. We could jump into that before the at the 9 o'clock 4-hour close. And in the euro, it's above the trend line. Any move up to back down to 129 or to this trend line or the descending trend line, you could consider as a buying opportunity. Pounds consolidating. New Zealand at the top of its range, looking for a break at the top of the range. The Aussie is back in the comfort of its fibs. Alright guys, and the Euro JPY, that's the trade we have in action for sure right here. Alright guys, happy trading, happy weekend. I look forward to talking to you on the weekend wrap, excuse me. Let's make some pips. Keep your eyes on the Twitter feed.